What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today we're going to talk about the Houston Texans OC search and who it seems like the fan base is leaning more towards. We're going to talk about, we're going to break it down before we get in there. Like I've been telling you before, man, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos, you liking all the videos, you commenting all the videos, you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you're sharing them same social media platforms also. Follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. And we still trying to get this channel growing and growing and growing. I really need y'all help. So I need y'all to do your parts. I need you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, so they could tell a friend, so they could tell some more friends, so they could tell some more friends and put them on game with the channel. Really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that help. Now, let's talk about it. Now, yesterday I put up a poll on my community wall. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go vote, comment as well. About who should be the Texas OC out of these group of guys. And at that time, I only had you're going to put 4 people in the space. And it's before we knew some names like the Brian Johnson of the world that we are going to end up interviewing. But it was Nick Caley, the tight ends coach for the Rams, Gerard Johnson, who is the Texans OC, Bill Lazor, who's the Texans offensive advisor, and then also Jeff Nix, who's the OC at Syracuse right now. And overwhelmingly, like last time I checked, it was at like 69, 70, 71% of Nick Caley. And that kind of tracks well with what I've been seeing on social media, seeing on Instagram, seeing on Twitter. It seems like everybody's favorite candidate is Nick Caley. From the guys that we interviewed, like forget the Chip Kellys and the Doug Petersons and things like that. From the guys that have been announced, it seems like Nick Caley is the overwhelming favorite. Everybody saying it's his job. When I seen people, once we even announced that we were interviewing him, everybody said, yes, we finally got a good candidate, all these different type of things. And my main question is why? I know the answer, but I'm asking why? Because I just don't get it. Again, I know the answer. And it kind of goes with the whole thing of, hey, he's been around Sean McVey. Hey, we want to go get somebody off the Sean McVey coaching tree because Sean McVey has this elite coaching tree. He's innovative, all these different type of things. We want to go after him. But when you look at Nick Caley, he's not a Sean McVey guy. He's a Josh McDaniels New England Patriot guy. Now, he spent some time in college being offensive assistants and things like that, but really didn't get his real niche until 2015 to 2016. He was in New England as the offensive assistant. Then in 2017 to 2022, he was a tight ends coach. Then at New England. Then in 2023, he went over to the Rams and he's the tight ends coach. And right now, he's a tight ends coach / pass game coordinator because he only became the pass game coordinator this last year in 2024. But before that, he was just a tight ends coach. And we already know Sean McVay doesn't let anybody call plays. Sean McVay is the play caller, just like Kyle Shanahan. Both of these guys, they call their own plays. So these offensive systems and offensive coordinators and things like that, passing game coordinators, running back coordinators, all these different type of things, they don't call no plays. They just that they might create a game plan, but they don't do none of that play calling. That is completely left up to Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. That's how they roll, which I ain't got no problem with that. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do because they're good at it. But the simple fact of Nick Caley being a McVay guy, one is not true because he's not a McVay guy. He's a Josh McDaniels guy. And people talk about that he has the most experience. When you look at somebody like Jeff Nixon, who's a current OC right now with the #1 passing attack in college football, and has also been an OC in the NFL from an interim basis with Carolina, but he also has more experience. So when people like say that they don't want him at all, but they're loving this Nick Caley candidate. I'm like, it's only because he's been around Sean McVay, and I don't think people really understand that he's only been around Sean McVay for 2 years. And one, Sean McVay doesn't allow people to call plays, and this dude only been around for 2 years. He's been in New England, so he's going to be a New England guy. So if you bring him in, you're not bringing in the McVay offense. You're not bringing in the Kubiak Shanahan offense. You're bringing in a Patriot style offense. Now I'm pretty sure it's gonna have little pieces of the McVay system because he's been around McVay. He learned some things, picked up some things, but the core base, the substance of his attack and game plan is New England Patriots. And like people will say when you bring up names like Byron Leftwich, and people always want to say, is he bringing Bruce Arians with him? Is he bringing Tom Brady with him? Like we seen this movie not work before in this building in NRG. We've seen this movie not work before. with a talent like Deshaun Watson. We've seen this movie not work before, and we've seen this movie not work anywhere else. In Denver, in Oakland or Vegas, whatever you want to call it, anywhere else, the Jets, Cleveland, anywhere else a Patriot assistant has went off outside going to Bama, we seen it not work outside of New England. And actually also outside Tom Brady, because once Tom Brady left, that system did not work. And then Tom Brady, when he went to Tampa, he went and played under Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich offense. Again, did he add some things and brought in over some things from New England offense? Sure he did. Sure he did. But the substance of that offense in Tampa Bay when he won a Super Bowl in Tampa without Bill Belichick under Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians was their risky no biscuit offense. Like like the substance and the groundwork of that offense was there. So Tom Brady didn't even bring the offense with him because it's Tom Brady. If Tom Brady wanted to bring Josh McDaniels to Tampa Bay, he would have brought Josh McDaniels to Tampa Bay, or he would have brought some. He would have brought some people from that staff over to Tampa Bay to run that type of offense. But he even went out and said, "Hey, I like how this offense is. I got some plays. And, hey, there's some things that we do over in New England that I want to bring. Sure, you bring it over, but the substance of that offense." Was through Tampa Bay and was through Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians risking no biscuit. And again, and also Byron was actually the play caller. Bruce Arians didn't call plays. Byron called plays out there in Tampa Bay just for people who want to talk about this Bruce Arians offense, which it is. It's the substance of it, but Byron was the one who called plays. But and then the Patriots, Nick Caley was on the Patriots staff that year when Bill Belichick decided to let Jim Judge and what was I forgot what the Matt Matricia, who was a DC guy, who was a defensive coordinator, and Judge was a special teams guy, be the offensive coordinators, be co-offensive coordinators, and call the plays. That they were the offensive coordinators together and call plays. Why you didn't let Nick Caley do it? If he was this big, innovative offensive mind, if he has this potential, why y'all ain't have him do it? Now I think I heard reports that that Gerard Mayo was willing to bring him in to be an OC when Gerard Mayo got this job. He decided to stay with McVay. Of course, he decided to stay with McVay because of the McVay coaching tree. And McVay coaching tree is going out there and he'll get you a job because you basically gave Sean McVay a cup of coffee. Because we over romanticize and fantasize this Sean McVay coaching tree. Because you want to be completely honest with you. You want to be completely honest. McVay only has one good coach in this coaching tree, and that's Kevin O'Connell. We don't talk about Staley, who failed in the Chargers. Now I know Staley's a defensive guy and McVay's an offensive guy, but hey, we're going to count D'Amico Ryans on Shanahan's coaching tree because he's a defensive guy. We're gonna count Robert Saleh on Shanahan's coaching tree. He's a defensive guy. So again, we're gonna count him on the coaching tree. But like I said, Kevin O'Connell is the only one because I know people want to give him Matt LaFleur. He's not. Matt LaFleur is not a McVay guy. Matt LaFleur started off in Houston with Gary Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan. When Kyle Shanahan was the OC in Houston, then when Kyle went with his daddy in Washington, who went with him? Matt LaFleur. You know who else? Then he went off to Atlanta to go out there and coach the Atlanta Falcons. He was OC in Atlanta when Matt Ryan won the MVP. You know who was with him? Matt LaFleur. Then when he got the job in San Francisco, that's when he went with McVay to with the Rams. Because remember, McVay got hired from the Rams before Kyle took the job at San Francisco. So he actually committed because, hey, this guy decided to give you a job and offer you a chance to be OC. You take it. He was only with the Rams for 1 year. OC didn't call plays. Ended up taking the job at Tennessee as the OC, a lateral move. But he took that job to call plays. Took that job, called plays for 1 year. Boom, now he's the head coach of Green Bay. We already know about Mike McDaniels. Then people also want to bring up Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor, once again, only was around McVay for a year, maybe two. He spent most of his time in Miami. So we're talking about these guys who we give McVay this credit. But he's only been around McVay a year, two at the most. But we give these guys this credit when these other guys have been around people like Kyle Shanahan, but we want to say, oh, well, no, McVay, he fell off the Shanahan tree and grew his own tree. Like, no, because one, McVay is a Shanahan guy from the Shanahan tree as well. So we just over romanticize this whole Shanahan, and I mean not the Shanahan, but this whole McVay tree, and anybody that's around McVay gets opportunity. I heard somebody earlier this week talk about even Mike LaFleur, which is Matt LaFleur's little brother. You know where Mike LaFleur was at? He was in Atlanta. with Kyle Shanahan. He was in Washington with Kyle Shanahan. He was in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan. Then he went to San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. Then ended up getting the OC job at with the Jets for a year or two. Well, actually 2 years with the Jets. Fell under Robert Saleh. Robert fired him, and he ended up going to the Rams. He ended up going to the Rams. And he's, I think, the passing game coordinator, or something like that. Well, no, actually, Nick Caley is the passing game coordinator. I think actually he's the assistant OC and the running backs coordinator, running game coordinator over with the Rams. And people threw his name in the ring. Again, he's not a McVay guy. He's a Shanahan guy. Again, remember, these offenses are pretty much the same, got a lot of similar properties. He's not a McVay guy, but people want to give him a McVay guy because he's been around McVay. And I think that's the real reason people are over romanticizing that about McVay. You got somebody like Jeff Nixon, who's been in the NFL and college as he was an Eagles offensive assistant from 2007 to 2010 under Andy Reid. Then went to Miami Dolphins from 2011 to 2015 as a running backs coach. Was a tight end coach under Chip Kelly in 2016. In 2017 and 2019, he was a co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach with Matt Rule over in Baylor. 2021 to 2022, he was the running backs coach and interim OC in Carolina after Matt Rule got fired. In 2023, he ended up going to the Giants and was the running back coach. And this past year, he was the OC with Syracuse Orange. Had the sixth total the sixth best offense, total offense in college football, with six total offense, number one passing offense, number 5 in time of possession, and averaged 33 plus points a game as the OC. Not as an assistant OC, not as a running backs coach, not as a quarterbacks coach, as the actual offensive coordinator, the sixth total offense in college football, the number one passing offense, number 5 in time of possession, and added over 33 plus points a game. Again, somebody that's the number one passing offense and top 5 in time of possession. Talk about short, quick passes, using the pass, using screens and things like that as an implement for the run game because they couldn't run the football that well. So they used those short passes, things like that, similar to a West Coast offense. Remember, under Andy Reid from 2007 to 2010. Then he was also with Chip Kelly as well in 2016. Again, West Coast offense. We know Andy Reid uses that short intermediate passing game. Now I know he runs the football a little bit better now with Pacheco and also with Kareem Hunt. But we know that back in Philly that Andy Reid used the short passing game out there in Philly. And then his first couple of years in Kansas City used the short passing game. You know, when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl in 2019, their leading rusher had like 450 yards. The team's leading rusher had 450 yards. You know why? Because Patrick Mahomes was using the short intermittent passing game to supplement for a running game. Now, I think this guy, like I said, when I put up this poll, I didn't have him on the poll because this time I didn't know they were interviewing somebody. I feel like it's being underrated, and I feel like it's being very, very treated unfairly from a lot of fan bases because the fan base itself doesn't really pretty much like him. But who I think is a guy that, if my personal opinion, is somebody that you really want to take another look at, and that is Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson. He's the passing game coordinator for the Washington Commanders. 37 years old. Pretty much what a lot of people be talking about. They spent a lot of time in college, but he's done a lot of different things. From 2010 to 2011, he was the quarterbacks coach at Utah, his alma mater, because he was a quarterback at Utah. 2012, 2013, he was the offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. In 2014, 2016, he was the running back. He was the quarterbacks coach at Mississippi State, being under playing out there in the SEC. In 2017, he was at U of H as the OC / quarterbacks coach. 2018, 2019, he was in Florida as a quarterbacks coach. In 2020, he was the OC at Florida. Then ended up being in 2021 to 2022, ended up being the Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks coach. And in 2023, he was the Eagle OC. Had the 9th total offense, 7 scoring offense, and this is in the NFL. So we're not talking about just how we were talking about with Jeff Nixon doing all this in college. We're talking about in the NFL under the Philadelphia Eagles, had the 9th best offense, total offense, 7th in scoring. Now, I feel like him and all the rest of the coordinators were kind of scapegoated in Philly. Now I know everybody talking about, we see Philly got rid of him, and right now Philly's in the Super Bowl. And that's true. They also added in Saquon Barkley. This Philadelphia Eagles team last year went to the playoffs. They didn't win the division, and Jalen Hurts kind of fell off towards the end of the season. Again, Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm not trying to throw no type of. I'm not trying to like talk about Jalen Hurts or anything like that. But Jalen Hurts ain't CJ Stroud. These guys out there, ninth total offense, seventh scoring offense, and also he knows how to get his playmakers the football. Because what you call it, AJ Brown had a good season last year. Same thing with Devontae Smith. We already got Nico Collins. We talking about adding receivers, either free agency, draft, and things of that nature. That's one of the things that we were frustrated about going into this season. When in the middle of the season, that like how the utilization is Tank Dell, why Tank Dell wouldn't get the football. Stephon Diggs ain't really bringing us nothing that we thought that he was going to do. Only person that's really going out there balling is Nico. And we talking about how Bobby doesn't give these guys the football. He knows how to give the guys football. And then this past year, he's been the quarterback. He's a passing game coordinator and assistant head coach out there in Washington. Now, think about this. Cliff Kingsbury, who's the current OC, who's been a head coach in the NFL, has been a head coach at Texas Tech, is not the assistant head coach. Brian Johnson is. He's the assistant head coach to this team. A guy that we talking about has where everybody's saying the best rookie year of all time. They went to an NFC championship game. So he's been he's been in the building. He was a quarterback coach when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago and lost to Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. Again, I'm not saying he's my favorite candidate. My favorite candidate of the guys that we've interviewed, I feel like is Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator at Syracuse. He doesn't check every single box that I have, but he does check a lot of it. He has experience of being a play caller at multiple different stops. He's shown a successful offense, at the very least in college football. The way he's able to use the short passing game, I respect that a little bit more than I do Brian Johnson. But I have no issue about Brian Johnson as well, because I think that I think he does need a little bit more pelts on the wall, but from what I've seen so far, he's intriguing. Only 37 years old, so we always talk about somebody that's young and innovative and all these different type of things. He's the youngest person on the board because Nick Caley 42. This dude's 37. Dude not even 40 yet. So we're talking about a young mind, a guy who's a former quarterback himself. So again, can talk to CJ on a different type of level because of the quarterback situation. Same thing with Gerard Johnson. Same thing with Gerard Johnson as well. Gerard Johnson, a former quarterback, so he could talk to him on the same level. Gerard Johnson has no experience. So, but I ain't gonna lie, I would rather have Gerard Johnson than Nick Caley. I don't really want Nick Caley because I don't want to bring this Patriot offense back over here, and he has no experience. He has no experience, and when he gonna run some type of hybrid Patriot / Shanahan offense, but then I've heard people all week talking about they want to move away from the Shanahan offense. But when you say McVay's name, it's different. Like it's different when you add in McVay. Like I don't get it. I don't get the over romanticizing this Sean McVay's offense or coaching tree, not his offense because his offense as well, but his coaching tree when he doesn't have that huge of a coaching tree, and people give him people who belong to other people, like Matt LaFleur, because that's the one of the things they constantly bring up is Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur belongs to Shanahan. We know Mike McDaniels belongs to Shanahan. And also, McVay belongs to Shanahan. And if you extend it to the Kubiak side, you got Stefanski. Because Stefanski came from Kubiak. Kubiak came from Shanahan. Kubiak came from Mike Shanahan. Kyle came from, like, we got to stop this. Again, everybody intertwines. I understand that. Everybody intertwines, and you keep the further you go, the more people intertwine. So it's where people get their start from, and who people spent their most time around. Not because somebody went there for a year or two and took a quick course. Like no, Nick Caley's base of his offense is going to be McDaniels. It's going to be McDaniels and the Patriot offense. Some little sprinkles of Sean McVay here and there, but the core of that offense is going to be the Patriots offense. It is. It is. So stop saying that he's a McVay guy. For either if that's your defense or if that's the way you like say you want him or don't want him. He's not a McVay guy. But a Patriot guy, I don't want that either. Like, give me Jeff Nixon. Of these guys, again, like I said, my number one candidate is Doug Peters, but it looks like he's not interviewing for any jobs. He's not taking any jobs. I would definitely like Chip Kelly. I laid out that video of the day about the good things about Chip Kelly. No one's called and talked to him, so it looks like he's off the board as well because no one's talking to him. But out of these guys, it's Jeff Nixon. But give me Brian Johnson. Give me Brian Johnson. I'm cool with Brian Johnson. I prefer Jeff Nixon out of these guys, but give me Brian Johnson. But this Nick Caley, like, y'all just taking this Sean McVay stuff a little bit way too far. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below. If you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I'll holla.